Hello and welcome to the Nothing Nothing, another record haul today. On this record haul number 19, yes, we are one away from hitting the extreme crazy numbers that they used to put on LPs with the number 20 songs on it. And in this one, we take a trip down 1980 Street along with the 70s four-way street. A band gives us time, while a heartbreaker tells us about the shadows in the night. We even detour to the 1960s with the Beatle going solo, wanting peace, and another one in the 1980s with meeting Stevie Wonder and playing on a piano keyboard. And it's the revenge of the 45s. This and more coming up on Record Hall 19. And we have a new visitor as well. We have a new record box. This is the alternate record box. Yeah, okay. This is covering up the address labels and stuff. So anyway, let us begin, shall we? Let's just knock all the receipts off. And go ahead, anybody can use that. I don't care. We got a date. But we have to start with the 60s here with Herb Alpert's 9th and the Tijuana Brass's 9th album. Yeah, and there's a picture of Beethoven on it. I'm still not sure. But anyway. So this is a mono copy. And as many of you may know, Herb Alpert is the A of A&M there. But of course the M was Jerry Moss, who unfortunately has passed away this month. So we only have one of the A&M left. Okay, since this is like all the previous A&Ms where they had the fancy inner sleeve, we'll take a quick look at it. Looks like we got our Sergio Mendes here today. We got our Baja Marimba Band. We got Chris Ortiz maybe. We 5. I don't recognize that one. Claudine. And then the other side, of course, we got all of Herb Alpert's albums, and we'll just quickly go over which ones I have. That one, that one, that one. That was in the last episode. And that's it on this list. So anyway, as he was on A&M, of course, as you see, Herb Alpert was the A of A&M. We have the classic A&M label. That was from 1967. And then we move into 1969 with something happening here, or for what it's worth, with the retrospective of the best of Buffalo Springfield. Although this copy is from the mid-70s, I believe. Yeah, so you can see retrospective, the best of. And right up there, number 1 is For What It's Worth, which is now associated with the Vietnam War. They were on ACO, and as you saw in the back, there was the writing by Armin Edergen. I can't pronounce that, excuse me. But yeah, there you go. There's For What It's Worth. And this will tell you this is from a later period, because this is the Atlantic group inner sleeve. It's cool though. Nice to have that. So Armin Edergen was actually the one who was responsible for bringing Young to CSNY, which we'll be getting to in a minute here. But first, we need to give Peace a Chance. With Let's Give Peace a Chance by the Plastic Ono Band, or as many people know, John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and like 50 other people in their hotel bedroom. Backed with Remember Love by Yoko Ono. So yes, if you are wondering, this is the first Apple label disc I actually own in person. So if you don't know, Apple labels had a very specific look to their records. You would have the full Apple on the A side, and then your B side Apple would be cut in half, like eaten in half. That's 1969. And then we move into 1971 with one of the bands that are arguably still missing, that shouldn't be missing. Jethro Tull and Aqualung. And this is the band. This is one of the bands of like the Rock Hall isn't the Rock Hall, and you don't got this band. You can make it for this band for sure. This is their biggest album. It's a gatefold, as you can see. We'll just start with the album first because the paper sleeve was incorrect. They were on Reprise this time, so there's the classic ship label. And we'll just quickly show this because it's not original. This is for London and Durham, which was actually what Bowie was on originally. I don't have any of those, I can say for sure. And then next up, also in 1971, we have Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Summertime. Yeah, we're getting later and later here with these. Much like the previous A&M albums, like the other ones, they also had late register things on it. But now as we're getting into the early 70s, you can see some differences. Well, we'll just talk about things I have. I have that one. I have that one. And on the other side, we have a picture with Preserve the Sound Outside. I would assume this is probably about the Baja sound, but I might be wrong. Of course, he was on A&M. This is another Herb Alpert. This time's in stereo. By 1970, most people only had stereo players, but one had stereo players. And then we also continue on in 1971 with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Four-Way Street. Here's your four-way street. Badly damaged on the label. It's a gatefold. Have a nice picture of the band probably rehearsing or warming up. I'm not sure here. So it's a 2-disc. We'll cover both. Of course, I can get it out. Okay. Get the disc first. Check the paper sleeve up. You got stuff on it. We'll take a quick look at it. I can just tell you by looking at it, I don't have any of these albums right this second. Let's flip to the other side and see. I definitely don't, but I wish I had more Led Zeppelin up there. And we'll do the other one as well, which I don't have the original paper sleeve for, but we'll look at it. There's Ohio. This was the first down that you could actually get it on. It was a live version. Same with Find the Cost of Freedom. And here's another Atlantic inner sleeve. It's actually kind of cool looking. And then next up we have Todd Rundgren's from 1972, Something Anything, which is also a 2-disc album, which we'll get to in a second here. Something Anything. This is considered his first album that many people knew. Start on the inside here. Inside his house, I would guess I would call that a house. I'll take a look at his albums. Now, he was on a label that he created himself called Bearsville. So we'll get a quick look at these labels. This is the first Bearsville I actually own. Let me get the paper sleeve, make sure there wasn't something on it. Nope, just plain. We'll move on to the other one real quick. Plain again. And then we move all the way to 1979 with the long-awaited edition. Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is an actual 1979 copy, which I am actually surprised myself how it was missed. There you go. As many people may not know, but when you're used to not seeing this, you're seeing Pink Floyd, The Wall written there. But it's not there because on the original versions, it was on the shrink wrap. There was a sticker of it. Now, this album is very famous. Of course, has number 1, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. And it's an interesting version here. It has I'm in the US, so this will have a written by Roger Waters, which isn't common. You can see that there. So back, no track listing, so you're like, oh boy, where are we looking for track listing? Well, we'll start with the disc first. If you've seen The Wall, you'll understand this concept here, the label. Oh, is this 1-4? Nope, 1-4, 1-2, okay. Now let me pull the sleeve out. So your lyrics / your track listing for each side is on the inner sleeve. Then we'll go to the other one. We'll show you the sleeve first while the disc was still in it. Is anybody out there? There's Comfortably Numb, another big hit. And if we flip it over, we should have the other one. Where is it? There's the Trial, outside the wall. Waiting for the words. Huh. Was it on the other one? Oh yeah, it is. So of course, as the album builds, of course, in the storyline, Pink builds the wall up. And it's the same thing with the stage show. So it fits lies on the label as well. And then also in 1979, we have the Heartbreaker, which of course is Pat Benatar's first hit song on In the Heat of the Night. You see Heartbreaker there. And we get to talk about this now. Discogs mobile app. If you have this, you can scan barcodes and you can find versions of this. And you can scan that and it'll help you find versions of this album. Now, I will say every copy of this album in the US in 1979 has a barcode, so you may be looking at the exact same thing. You're going to have to look at the details, the runout groove, all sorts of stuff. But, anyway. So, this is interesting. I don't know if this is original or not. We'll put it all at once. There's a plastic sleeve with the Chrysalis label. I don't know if this is original or not. But if it is, that's cool. Because it's the record label she was on this time. As you can see from side 2 here. Chrysalis. And of course, track 1, side 1 is Heartbreaker. Which was not originally her own creation, but became one of her standard songs. And then coming up, we have another I just said 78. 45 with The Who, You Better in Bed. Backed with The Quiet One. And then we have the other Beatle going solo with Stevie Wonder, Ebony and Ivory. A 7 or 8 week #1. That was backed with Rainclouds. Now that's on Warner Brothers. This is the first Warner Brothers single album I have there. And I have quite a few Columbia 45s, but we can see here's Rainclouds. And if we flip it over, you can see Paul McCartney with Stevie Wonder with Ebony and Ivory. And then we move into 1982, although this album is a reissue of it, is of the Dazz Band's Keep It Live. As you can see, this is why this is a reissue. Includes Let It Whip. Barcode, scan that with Discogs. Mobile app, will help you find the versions. And as you can see, Motown were convenient and literally put the original release date on, even though this copy is from 1984 or something like that. Before we get to the disc, pop quiz time! I'm going to stop just before the answers. And I'll let you take a look at those for a minute. And then I'll show you the answers near the end of the episode. So there's some classic Motown stuff. And we'll talk about what I do have. We have that one there, Grover Washington Jr.'s Mr. Mr. Magic. I want that one. Let's get it on. I just saw it. There's Four Tops Reach Out, which we had last time. So let me just slide that out here. Of course, they were on Motown, so we get the Motown label. set that off to the side, and we'll show the results in a minute at the end. And then next up from the same year, we have Pat Benatar's Get Nervous. And I will tell you, this box is designed for records to be brought in, not out of, easily. Barcode, of course, can scan up the mobile Discogs app. You can get the thing from it, the album from it. There's your track listing, of course. There's the hit, "We're running with the shadows of the night." And that's your Shadows of the Night reference in the teaser. And then we have a custom inner sheet. This side is blank. I believe it's just credits, yeah. Here's your credits. Of course, she was still on Chrysalis at that time, so we're going to get another Chrysalis label. There's Shadows of the Night. And then also in the same year, although this is actually technically for 1983, we have Culture Club's Kissing to Be Clever. Why I know this is 1983, though, and not 1982 is simple. I'm not going to show you the back first, but we'll get there. We'll get there in a second. Okay, we'll get to the back here. Barcode, you can scan that. Okay. It's when we get to here. Notice on side 2, there is Time, Clock of the Heart. On the original 1982 version, Time was not included. And this is the time from the teaser, by the way. And as you can see, there's the other hits. Do you really want to hurt me? I'll tumble for you. And then, of course, Time itself was a big hit. Now, they were released on Epic here, even though they were technically on Virgin in the UK. So here's the paper sleeve. It's got the lyrics. Here's Boy George. In a much younger time, in a very more flamboyant way, if you will. And there's the 3 other members of the band. Do you really want to hurt me there? I'll tumble for you. This time? Okay. Put on the sleeve here. As you can see, Epic with the Virgin label. There's Time, Clock of the Heart. Oh, I had the disc come backwards, that's fine. Do you really want to hurt me? And so on. Give me 1 second, I want to check something. Okay, and then next up we come to Bonnie Tyler with... Oh, but what is the name of the song? I've just forgotten. Where is it? Something covered? There it is. Faster Than the Speed of Night. As you can see from the hype sticker there, once I get it out. Featuring the single, Total Eclipse of the Heart, as seen on MTV. Plus, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? There's Jungle Out There, and Faster Than the Speed of Night. As you can see, it's still almost in the original track. It's also all in the crap. I like that back album cover. Barcode, of course, you can scan those. These are mostly 1980. You're going to see the barcodes. Okay, let's fill out the disc first. She was on Columbia here. And of course, Total Eclipse of the Heart was another #1. Let's just check, make sure the paper didn't have anything on it. Yes, it did. It's got the lyrics. Have You Seen the Rain, of course, is a cover. There's Total Eclipse of the Heart there. Written by, of course, the late, great Jim Steinman. There's a photo of her. He's no longer with us, of course. And then we move on to 1980. That was 83. We move on to 84 with Footloose, Footloose. Kick off your Sunday shoes. The original soundtrack to Footloose. Footloose, of course, was a #1. And Denise Williams of Let's Hear It for the Boy was also a number one. There's also some classics on here like Almost Paradise and I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. I don't remember the lyrics are off the top of my head. Barcode, of course, you can scan that. Discogs app. Show you the side. Now this is actually going to be basically a repeat of the Columbia album we just had of Bonnie Tyler. But first, let's look at the lyric sheet. Or the inner lyrics sheet. As you can see there. Pretty much the same, we'll move on. And then lastly, from 1986, we have Peter Cetera and The Glory of Love, which I had upside down. Whoops. The theme from The Karate Kid Part 2, backed with... It's backed with... I've forgotten. Let's just look. I put the sleeve down. This is the original sleeve, by the way. It is backed with On the Line by Peter Cetera as well. So, of course, this was a 2 or 3 week number one in 1986. Okay, you've all been waiting for it. Remember that pop quiz from a minute or two ago? Let's have the answers, shall we? Actually, I'll do it like this instead. Just slide it across. Okay, so there are your answers. And with that, that is it for this haul, and I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Especially on episode number 20, when that comes out, when we hit the big numbers. When the LP was stretched to its maximum, when they put 20 songs on an album, 10 on each side.